Thank you for joining us here tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Jacob Murphy. We begin right away with our top story this evening. Madison County Schools investigating two incidents where teachers allegedly used racial slurs in class. WCTV talked to the student who recorded a video of one of those moments today. We want you to take a listen.
Which one of you in here while talking about me saying the word that you're going to give me next?
The superintendent tells WCTV that this video was recorded today and the district's Title IX coordinator is now looking into what happened. The student who took this video says they were discussing a different staff member who allegedly used the term in class when this happened. The district confirming there is an investigation into that incident, but not releasing the names of either staff members at this time. As far as the female staff member caught on camera in that video, in a statement from the district, the superintendent, Dr. Karen Pickles, telling us, quote, "The language depicted is unacceptable and stands in direct opposition to the core values of our district," end quote. Investigators will make any discipline recommendations to the superintendent for review. Parents and community organizations are expressing frustration and anger on social media tonight. This is a look at some of the comments under the school board's post about the incident that they posted to their Facebook page. Many of them critical not only of the two staff members, but also the school board. We should tell you there is a school board meeting set for this Monday. Several groups do plan to attend.